again. This is Vash Shenoy from Rome with the third episode of the Indo-Mediterranean Chats. And as promised in the previous episode, we have with us again today Mr. Narendran from Chennai, and we'll talk a little bit about the Indian elections, a little bit about the Indian Ocean, and a little bit about India's neighborhood this evening. Welcome, Mr. Narendran. Welcome to the Indo-Mediterranean Chat.
To be back with you, Voss. I think it's a important phase of Indian elections and what's happening in India's neighborhood. Look forward to a meaningful chat.
So we finished the first phase of elections in India. Specifically, you voted because you're in Chennai, and all the seats of Tamil Nadu went to vote in the first phase, from what I understand. So tell me, what was the feeling of the vote, and what is your conclusion of the first phase?
Interesting. I think this is the beginning of the first phase of election. We just finished the first round. The Indian elections have been divided into five different parts. So 543 seats, approximately 103 seats went to vote on the 19th of April. It was a very peaceful voting. I think that's important to highlight. And I think the general feedback has been the percentage of voting has been little marginally less than the last election, which is 2019. So there is, it's marginally less. I really don't know specifically if there is something majorly to read out. But based on my understanding and my analysis, uh, all first phases are always a slow start. So to me, that's a major conclusion. If you look at 2019 election, again, the first phase of voting is pretty much similar. It's always a slow start. I think the election machinery was also getting used to it in terms of arrangements, etc. So I don't see that as a major issue as far as the first phase of voting is concerned. However, um, it is important for all the stakeholders, that is the political parties, as well as the election commission and the state machinery in respective geographies, to do a kind of a campaign to motivate people to come and vote. I mean, if your average voting percentage is at 61, 62%, which means in a democratic process, somebody gets 20%, 23%, really be winner. So which means out of 100, so it's only 20% who chose you to be our leader. So I think there has been some initiatives being done, especially by the ruling BJP. We've even seen the Prime Minister making repeated attempts in every of his rally to go and vote. I think the Election Commission has also started their campaign. So we'll have to wait and see.
Something. How was it voting in Chennai? What is your view? I mean, last time Tamil Nadu had all the seats which went to the regional parties, from what I remember. So, will BJP make a dent in Tamil Nadu? Is this the election?
The BJP has already made a significant dent in the Tamil Nadu's narrative, public view, the social media buzz, and what is being spoken by the common man on the ground. From that point of view, BJP is now seen as a rising force. Now, coming to the first part of your question, as far as the city of Chennai is concerned, um, I don't know if it is true across the world, but many parts of the world, the urban, educated, uh, the upper middle class of the society see an election day as a holiday. And it so happened it came on a Friday. So I could see exit out of Chennai. The toll gates had chokes of traffic, and a lot of people wanted to get away and get out of the hot sun in Chennai. So you get Friday and Saturday, Sunday, it's a long weekend. So that has been always a trend. So, but having said that, I heard from various pockets of Chennai that, especially in the urban educated areas, there has been a significant improvement in voting. But net effect, it's the trend has been the same. But as far as BJP is concerned, what is interesting, even though the overall percentage of voting has been less, but wherever BJP had star candidates like pockets of Coimbatore, South Chennai, and Vellore, and 4 or 5 constituencies which BJP has been pushing in a lot of effort and star campaigners, there uh, the voting percentage has gone up. But again, this is you can read it any which way. We'll have to wait till June 4th to really know what's happening.
Coming back to the second phase, which is supposed to be on the 26th of April, media reports that the Prime Minister has stopped using the Char So Par or above 400 slogan in his recent speeches up north. Is it because he feels that the wind is blowing against him and 400 is no longer possible? Or is it because he thinks it's no longer needed?
Well, we should understand why this Charso Par as a campaign. I think Prime Minister was very smart in setting the narrative much before the elections, saying that this time the ruling government is going to come back with almost 25% more seats than last time. So from 300 odd to about 400, more than 400 seats. So I think it's a very smart election narrative setting. Now let's look at why it is 400 plus. BJP last time got 300 seats. Out of 543, BJP won 300 seats. In about 80 odd seats, BJP was close number 2. And ever since BJP came second to those 80 seats, the last 5 years, BJP had enormous focus in going to those unaddressed population and motivating them. And there has been work and effort very significantly on the ground. And with new alliances and new partners coming in, so you just add 380, 385 to a couple of 10, 15 seats more. And there was a method to why it is 400. Okay, so that is the significance of that number. It was not a simple bravado statement. But having said that, the objective of 400 is also to make the opposition react to his narrative setting. We have seen every opposition leader, including the Congress leadership and all other regional opposition parties, the whole narrative running up to the election day was all about we will never let BJP get 400. We'll never get BJP will definitely fall short of 400. And imagine he made the opposition not talk about Modi will lose and we are winning. The whole narrative, even by the opposition, was we will prevent BJP from getting 400. I think that was the purpose, it to break and give a negative vibration to the grassroots level workers working against the BJP. I think that was all that effect it had. And it had its purpose. And, after the first phase is change the narrative into something else. So that's how I see it. But so much of marketing has gone into 400. I think even the people who don't vote for BJP will be very familiar with BJP's aim of getting 400.
What about the opposition? Mr. Rahul Gandhi is apparently sick with food poisoning. He's been off the campaign trail. There are rumors that the Gandhi family will contest one of the Gandhi children, Rahul or Priyanka, in the traditional bastion of Amethi and Rai Bareli. What is happening in the opposition camp, in the Congress camp especially?
Congress camp, I feel a little disappointed if their traditional constituencies in Uttar Pradesh, Amethi, and Raebareli, if no Gandhi contest. So what if you lose? I think if you really want to be been at the seat of power for 60 years out of the last 75 odd years, and it doesn't look good that if you are running away and vacating those constituencies. I would be very disappointed, but still it is open. They have not announced an alternative candidate. It keeps the media busy guessing and waiting and in anticipation of what Congress is going to do. Even BJP has not announced their candidate in Amethi. Of course, they've announced somebody for Rai Bareli. Amethi, they have not announced anybody. It's a kind of a nice cat and mouse game going on everywhere. Rahul Gandhi goes, people ask him, "Are you going to contest in Amethi?" And it kind of makes a little bit of humor in a dry election. And press talks about it. I think it makes a lot of the lighter moments of the election is whole Gandhi versus Amethi as a constituency. But personally, I would feel that I would be disappointed if the Gandhis don't fight there. So what if you lose? I mean, you still stand by your people. So I think that is the fundamental of a democratic state. So just because you lose, Rahul Gandhi had to be safe last time. Uh, he has to definitely go to parliament, so he chose a safe seat. And now he's already contesting in Wayanad, which is a very safe seat for him. But there is a lot of criticism for him that he can't run away from the battle. If you're fighting Modi and if you claim to be an alternative to Modi, so go fight Modi in his homeland. You can't go to a place where BJP doesn't exist and find a safe seat. But I still think they will probably make, probably I hope Rahul Gandhi listens to this and files his nomination for Amethi.
Tell me something. Don't you think, talking about the tone, that the tone of this election has fallen way below what used to be gentlemanly, what used to be civil, that it has become a very dirty election with a lot of Twitter noise, X noise as they call it now, and lots of social media noise. Do you think the level of electioneering has fallen over the years that you've observed so many elections now?
Don't think so. I think with the advent of social media is now available to about close to 70% of the electorate. So which is like, 500 million people. They're very active on social media. They get all the information, and when they express back, so you're not going to get kind words. So people are very passionate about it, and the politicians also take advantage. They, after all, listen to the feed of their constituents on social media. So I don't see that as. I think it is all elections are very aggressive. There are many politicians who are fighting, even within BJP. If they don't win, their career is finished. So he's going to use everything available at his disposal, and like they say, throw the to the kitchen sink and fight. So if that means there is aggression, there is abusive language, or doing all means, I think it's fair. I think I just see it pretty similar in most of the elections. So I've seen in North America, especially the US election, people were bending back over forward to find dirt on Trump and vice versa. So they have to find some sleaze, some interesting things about your opponent. But in India, it's very similar, but in a different flavor. They use a lot more aggressive language and all kinds of narratives. I think that's common. It's welcome to the new world.
Moving from the mother of all democracies to a very small democracy in India's neighborhood. On Sunday, there was the election of the Majlis, or the Parliament of the Republic of Maldives, a very, very small democracy, but very important strategically in the Indian Ocean. Now, just as a background, the new Maldives president, Mohamed Muitsu, who is anti India as well as an Islamist, had, as soon as he had come to power, challenged India's special relationship. And Mr. Modi had replied in a very passive aggressive manner, indirectly, by promoting Lakshadweep, which overlooks Maldives, as a tourist destination. Now, the parliamentary elections were a surprise because most observers expected, the Majlis to be split in between the 6, 7 forces that were candidating. But suddenly it seems that Muitsu has done a clean sweep, which also means there's a 5-year anti-India parliament and president on a strategic neighbor in the Indian Ocean, which favors China. Now, is this a failure of India's foreign policy?
It's interesting. I think. all neighbors are strategic. There's nothing singles out Maldives to be that extraordinary value. I think Maldives had the advantage of pitting India against China and got the best of bargains. I think in terms of support, Muizu managed to bring China to the negotiation party. So I think it's a question of what he gets from either side. I think India picked one side and China picked another side, and that side won. I don't think it is an anti-India vote, and I don't think that is going to make a huge difference to India's strategic advantage in the Indian Ocean and in the largest Eastern Sea route. However, I think we'll have to wait and see in terms of the dependence of Maldives on India, because uh, China is way so far away. I think there's also a report that the garrison, which about 90 soldiers of India, which is doing some experiments and maritime research, they would have to leave. I think they've been there for about 15, 17 years. I think it's time for India to probably withdraw, give them space, and then reimagine their relationship with Maldives. But having said that, um, um, I mean, it's. I wish all the best for Moitsu for having come to power. Um, it's important that that country which heavily dependent on Indian tourism, 50% of their GDP is on Indian tourism. So that has already taken a hit. So people are looking at other avenues, etc. So it's going to be a difficult time for them to rebuild. I mean, China can lend you, but they can't really replace India with Chinese tourism. It's a couple of thousand miles so far away, and an Indian shore and flight fares, and it's a 5x if you were to travel anywhere from China. It's not going to be easy. Having said that, India had a comfortable position for the last 15 years. Now they have to reimagine their relationship with Maldives. I wish them all the best, but I don't think it's of that grave failure of diplomacy. Yeah, you always win 10 matches. You should be gracious enough to lose one.
Okay. Thank you so much for participating in today's episode. Next time, I would love to speak to you about the participation of women in this election, which numerically we see is very low, and we'll see if we can get a female politician also to participate and speak to us about women in this Indian election. And I think this will probably be the last election where the reservation for women will not be implemented. From 2029, there'll also be a reservation for women. So that said, thank you for this evening. This is all we got. This is Vash Shenoy from Rome and Mr. Narendran, who has kindly dialed in from Chennai. And hope you enjoyed this episode. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye bye.